One day not long ago, Rio resident Tatiana Ribeira noticed this little outdoor food court and decided she just had to eat at the chicken stand.
Eu estava passando de ônibus e despertou interesse o cabelo dela, que é muito grande. Me atrai até de ouvir as histórias das pessoas que têm cabelo parecido sobre as coisas que ela passa.
Call it hair solidarity, but something bigger is at play here. Thaisa Feneira, the owner of the chicken truck, is at the heart of an Afro-Brazilian movement for black-to-black businesses. That is, black Brazilians producing stuff, then selling it to other blacks. Ribeira, who is Afro-Brazilian herself, says she's since learned about black-to-black and is now a happy regular here.
Quase não se tem empreendedores negros, quase não se tem negros em áreas importantes, de negócios altos, de área nobre, de tudo que é importante, não tem muitos negros.
Thaisa, who opened her chicken truck 4 years ago, is trying to change that, first in her own kitchen.
Eu tenho companheiro que é homem preto. Eu tinha meu trabalho, minha carreira desenvolvida e ele ainda não. A gente percebe que esse movimento para homens ainda é bem difícil. Acho que o homem ainda não está, principalmente o homem negro, que fica na linha de tiro, que é o homem de 15 a 29 anos, ainda não consegue se adequar porque ele é sempre criminalizado pelo mercado de trabalho.
Thaisa recently hired Leila da Silva, 53 years old, Afro-Brazilian.
Estava desempregada, tive uma oferta, e vim parar aqui. É importante mostrar para as pessoas que os negros têm um lugar para poder trabalhar, que são importantes, sintam-se pessoas importantes também.
But where Thaisa is really trying to influence society is on the customer end, getting more black Brazilians like Tatiana to stop by. But it isn't easy.
Aqui é bairro de classe média na Zona Norte, então a presença do negro ainda é pequena. Então é uma luta que a gente trava e trazer amigos que sejam pretos. Eles não podem comer todo final de semana aqui, porque ainda tem dificuldade no acesso ao capital.
Some 56% of Brazilians identify themselves as black, yet they are disproportionately poor. For many, the answer to why starts here at Rio's port. This recently discovered pier was where Africans were first received in Brazil as slaves. 5 centuries ago, up until 1888, they remained the property of whites. As atrocious as that history is, black entrepreneur Giovanni Harvey says some people use it to simply write off blacks today, which is wrong.
Muitas vezes as pessoas associam essa dificuldade a uma herança da escravidão. Estabelecem uma relação mecânica entre a pobreza da população negra e o fato da população negra ser descendente de escravos. Isso não é verdade. A pobreza da população negra está ligada ao racismo, porque o racismo é que perpetuou uma relação de desigualdade que se originou na relação da escravidão.
Especially structural racism, Harvey says. Harvey is a successful black businessman. He helped start the black-to-black movement, incubating hundreds of black startups in recent years.
E eu percebia que as pessoas não conseguiam desenvolver negócios, não é porque elas não tinham competência, é porque não tinham oportunidade, porque não tinham acesso à informação.
Black Brazilians, Harvey says, have traditionally passed by what black businesses there are, shopping instead in white-owned establishments. But all that's changing. More and more Afro-Brazilians are finding each other and their businesses online. A postgraduate student named Eduardo is in Rio for a little research. He's renting a room in this apartment, an apartment he found on a website called diaspora.black.
Eu achei muito interessante a iniciativa, como eu trabalho sempre com questões étnicas, sempre da questão da negritude no Brasil. Eu encontrei isso no site de uma amiga.
So this is both a way for you to have a roof over your head and also a way to gain further insight into your area of expertise.
Sim, porque eu achei uma iniciativa brilhante, assim.
Diaspora.black is an online rental portal, like an Airbnb for dark-skinned Brazilians. These 5 guys started it. They're still in the beta stage, but they've got hundreds of people using the site, in Brazil and in several countries, including the US. What brought them together? Racism, they say. when traveling themselves or hosting, says Carlos Humberto.
Eu vivi algumas experiências num outro site que eu usava, né, o Airbnb, onde eu locava meu imóvel, de pessoas que chegaram na minha casa, meu perfil não tinha foto, então quando a pessoa chegou na minha casa, que me viu, eles se sentiram eles ficaram visivelmente muito incomodados, assustados, e eu fui comprar umas frutas, umas flores para eles ficarem em casa, e quando eu retornei, eles tinham ido embora e disseram que não era bem o que eles esperavam. Na verdade, quem eles esperavam não era eu, né? Eles não esperavam que a pessoa que fosse acomodá-los fosse uma pessoa negra.
So while these guys support the ongoing struggle to eradicate racism through education, public policy changes, and so on, their project pulls an end around. If you can't accept us, it's telling white society, we'll move on without you and prosper.
My dear brother Julius Selo Malema, as you celebrate your 41st birthday, kindly accept my good wishes from Nairobi, Kenya. May you live long as you continue to fight the good fight of the total economic liberation of the people of Africa. God bless you.
News channel. Russian President Putin says Africa is a cemetery for Africans. Before you form an opinion, first let me read you the whole quote of what he said. Putin says, quote, Africa will never be independent. Africans believe in Europeans, Americans, Chinese more than themselves. They don't trust themselves at all. A white man will commit crime in Africa, but no action will be taken because Africa authorities view us as semi-gods. Far from the truth, a black man can be abducted in Europe, get harassed, or even killed, but no African authority will question. Africans present themselves as weak people with no hope, especially when dealing with Europeans and Americans. They are their own enemies. They hate each other, and that gives their colonial masters power to continue exploiting African resources. When an African becomes rich, his bank accounts are in Switzerland. He travels to France for medical treatment. He invests in Germany. He buys from Dubai. He consumes Chinese. He prays in Rome and Mecca. His children stay in Europe. He travels to Canada, USA, Europe for tourism. If he dies, he will be buried in his native country of Africa. Africa is just a cemetery for Africans. How could a cemetery be developed? Putin asks. That's how it felt, really, hearing this from him. But let's be honest, let's have a real conversation. Is he really wrong? Is he telling the truth, or is he lying? Let's be honest with ourselves, Africans. It's time to really reflect. Let's see. Which statement he made is wrong? It sucks hearing this from another person. It sucks that somebody had a view about how we act, how we move, and said that about us publicly, and that's a leader of a nation, Russia. It's not really nice to hear that from another person. That's definitely his observation. He's entitled to his opinion, but let's talk about his opinion. Is it really wrong? His opinion is formed from what he saw. Let's be true to ourselves. Let's be honest with each other. It's sad. It's really sad. But this is what's happening right now. If we want to see the change that we want, we need to be honest with ourselves. We need to see the truth. We need to reflect, and we need to change what needs to be changed. From what Putin said, most of it is right. Let's be clear. Our leaders see the white man as semi-gods. He said it. He even said, it's not true, but you guys think we're gods. How awful is that to hear? They know their power. Get that. We believe that they are semi-gods. Don't get me wrong. Part of it is psychological. Part of it is because of colonialism. At the end of the day, it had an impact on the minds of the people, our ancestors. It left something, some scar. So without knowing it, psychologically, we're kind of colonized as well. We need to now break that chain and come out of it. That's the main thing now. We're discussing this because I think it's important, because I believe it's important. If we really look at ourselves and see where we're going wrong, we can fix it. I believe our politicians, our leaders, believe that these guys are semi-gods.
I am going to read the text of this slide that I will show you, and the statement is from the President of China. His picture is also showing, who made this statement about the African race. I am reading it because it might be too small for you to read on your phone, and you can decide how much of it you believe. The title is, "You cannot depend upon another race to free you. That is a basic law of human existence." He says, the only thing the black man has inherited from Arabs and European colonization is the religion that he practices, and that's exactly what the colonizers wanted. Notice that in black countries, the education is a disaster, the administration is corrupt, health is deplorable, but religion is doing wonderfully well. Black people rebel against everything except religion. They even think they are more religious than those who brought them these concepts, and that the colonizers are not good Christians. Black people even claimed themselves to be the original race from which Jesus Christ has descended. This is how far black people's stupidity can go. Notice that in any society that is full with superstitions, religious indoctrination, lack of education, and nationalism, is always ridden with violence. And that's the statement of President of China, Xi Jinping.
Tanzanian President John Magufuli was allegedly poisoned by the Chinese in collaboration with the Western countries' spies. By Collins Kebwato. A high-ranking government official in Tanzania has claimed that Dr. John Pombe Magufuli was killed by the Chinese in collaboration with the Western countries because he stood strong and denied them entry into Tanzania and blocked them from accessing the rich mineral resources in the country. The official, who spoke to a KDR TV news correspondent in Tanzania, requested anonymity because of the severity of the information. They also revealed that they are investigating all the leads and will come with a conclusive report on how their beloved president, Dr. John Pombe Magufuli, died. He is a man who was very energetic and very healthy. The government official disclosed very scanty details of the events that led to the president's condition, which deteriorated so fast and worsened day by day until his demise. It's all still a mystery. The vice president who announced the death said that he died on Tuesday evening East African time, while rumours indicated that he died in a Kenyan hospital in Nairobi. Also, the former Tanzanian presidential candidate, Mr. Tundu Lissu, who ran against John Pombe Magufuli, claimed on his social media accounts and on BBC TV that the president was critically ill and had been flown out of the country for specialised treatment. Let us reflect on the great works carried out at the hands of President and Dr. John Pombe Magufuli. The President directed that all minerals extracted in Tanzania must be manufactured in the country, and no raw materials should be exported without prior approval from his officials. This made it very difficult for companies from East or Western countries to access the raw materials and export them to their own countries. In a recent event that shocked many people, he impounded raw materials at the port of Des es Salaam, which were destined for China, and he demanded that the firm should manufacture the materials in Tanzania. President John Magufuli made Tanzania a middle-income country. He rejected a $10 billion loan from China. He didn't go on state trips outside Africa. He reduced the cabinet size from 30 to 19. He banned government officials from foreign trips and abolished their tax exemptions. Magufuli accused the UK company Arcadia Mining of illegal mining and ordered them to pay $193 billion for undervaluing Tanzania's gold exports. Over 250 containers of theirs were seized at Dar es Salaam port. They paid $300 million and gave Tanzania 16% ownership in 3 mines. The great Magufuli introduced free education in government schools in 2016. He acquired 6 Air Tanzania planes, expanded Terminal 3 of Julius Nyerere International Airport. He built Tanzania Standard Gauge Railway, Mfugale Flyover, Julius Nyerere Hydropower Station, Ubungo Interchange. He built Salanda Bridge, Kigongo Busisi Bridge. He expanded the port of Dar es Salaam, Dodoma Bus Terminal, an LNG plant, a water project, a wind farm project, Uhuru Hospital project, a gold refinery plant, and the Magufuli bus terminal. The late President John Magufuli excelled in infrastructure and financial affairs. He faced numerous accusations of human rights abuses and was accused of repressing the opposition. He also banned illicit and explicit images and videos online. The great Magufuli went completely against their narrative. He bravely stood up to the forces of darkness and dispelled the fear of COVID in Tanzania. So many diasporans flocked for shelter under his guard, proud to call this man their president. He sacrificed himself for Tanzania and for African freedom seekers globally who have taken great inspiration from his message. He stood alone, fearless, and no other African leader gave strength to this brother. They all kept quiet. I wonder why. Babylon wanted to silence him also. They so obviously took him out, but they cannot stop that which has already begun. Your message lives on, loud and clear, Baba Magufuli. Fire bun, dirty Babylon.
Watching TV, go up, feeling nothing but lazy. Feeling to some nothing else to do, might as well go to the board and drop something brand new. Feeling on the dice, throwing shit down, making me hard to the sound. About to stop, hungry that I'm up for the plug now. Cause once I found out you liking it. Don't you want it back? Don't you want it back? Don't you want it?
Welcome, brothers and sisters, to another video from the Black Economic channel. I am Neville Farkey, coordinator of the channel. The goal is to try to establish a link between the Black Lives Matter movement, the younger movement, and the older Pan-African movement. We need to establish that link and build that link so that we can work together in Africa and in the diaspora to reduce our dependence on the old colonizers from Europe and North America and the new Chinese colonizers. Africa at home and abroad Africans need to increase business ownership and our investments where we live in any economic system that exists in that particular country. The economic systems, and I'm just going to mention these briefly, they range from the extreme of capitalism as exists in the United States and in Britain and most countries of the world, to communism that exists in Russia and China, which have evolved to state capitalism. I'm not in favor of either of those two extremes that cause the concentration of wealth and economic power in the hands of a small percentage of the population, while the majority of middle-class people and poor people work for them or work for their companies or their private organizations or work for the governments that they control. And the majority of people are living from paycheck to paycheck. Ranging between these two extremes are democratic socialist countries, economic system as exists in some European countries where you have more social programs, more government-owned companies and private companies with allow for more worker participation. The democratic socialist system was tried in Jamaica by the Jamaican Democratic Party led by Michael Manley in the 80s, but it was crushed by the CIA and the local Conservative Party, as is being done in Venezuela. However, they did make some progress. Progress was made and a number of reforms introduced, like the land reform program, land lease under that government, and the many other changes that benefited many Jamaicans. I'm going to say benefited the majority of Jamaicans. The other kind of economic system that is also known to many people, but not well known, and was tried. It's the Ujamaa socialist system, or African socialism, that was developed and proposed by Dr. Julius from Tanzania, and it was tried in Tanzania for a period of time. Now the Ujamaa economic system, or African socialism, or cooperative economic system, that is something that is very interesting, and I will look at it, and I will in a future video will spend some more time on this. However, despite the kind of economic system that exists where we live, we black folks need to own more business and other investment to gain economic power in proportion to our share of the population. And this is the mission, or the first priority, of the Black Economic Network, which is to build a network to help us score that main goal of economic independence.